Welcome back to another self-driving video. I am on 12.4.3 and I'm taking full self-driving through Frankfort, Michigan, all the way over to Interlochen. For those of you who don't know this area, it is absolutely beautiful. The beaches here are incredible. I am currently on vacation. I decided to see if it would take off from this spot. I have 3 girls in the back seat and they are being so wonderful by keeping super quiet. I didn't even ask them to be quiet, but they know when I'm filming, I usually want it to be quiet. I didn't say they couldn't talk, so later on in the video, they actually start raising their voices a little bit. I do tap on it just to get it out of here. Now, the latest version, which is getting rave reviews on X, certainly would not do this. Look at the steering wheel here. It is trying to figure out how to get out of this area. I'm letting it do this, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, it's not getting anywhere, and it's probably not doing my steering column any good, mechanically that is. So I do take over. That is the first disengagement. But, you know, these situations where you take off or you end up finishing your trip, generally speaking, you end up with issues with, pulling into a parking lot or pulling into a driveway. So I don't know if I really personally count those myself, but I'm going to tally them up in this video because one day I'm confident that it will be able to handle those situations. So I take the visualizations away for a good portion of this trip. I do add them back in intermittently, so the beginning and the end of this trip are the most interesting. This is a very sentimental drive for me. I used to come up to this area a lot as a child. I'm up here with my entire family, and it's the first time I've been to this area without my father. My father passed away in January, so this ride really means a lot to me. I ended up going to see a concert in Interlochen, and I spent a lot of time in this area with my father, so it's very meaningful for me, a lot of memories. You'll see here after I get out of this downtown area, and I recognize that a lot of people that are watching this probably have zero relation to this area, so it's a bit niche, but Full Self-Driving crushes it here. It does a phenomenal job getting all the way to the final destination without really doing anything at all. It's going through this downtown area very smoothly, and even though there are no stop signs and kind of awkward areas with parking on the right and pedestrians coming out of nowhere, generally speaking, I should say, so it is a Saturday evening, it does really well. There's another crosswalk, just cruises right through there, 27 miles per hour. Another crosswalk here, no stop signs. Really could be some stop signs there. Takes the left turn really, really nicely. And then up here, we're taking a right turn. I'm having zero issues with this drive, and I purposefully show the steering wheel down below on the bottom left, just so you can see that I am not doing a single thing. That's the beautiful thing with 12.4, and I know with 12.5 it's the same. You do not need to touch the steering wheel. It feels like a completely different experience, and I can't say that enough. Right at the top of this hill, I have a lot of memories walking up here. It's pretty far from the downtown area. What you don't see in this drive is heading the opposite direction, which takes you directly out to Lake Michigan. There's a beautiful pier. A lot of times we go down there for the sunsets. This is just an incredible spot to vacation because there are a lot of really beautiful lakes. Crystal Lake is very close to here, and Lake Michigan is just gorgeous. A lot of sandy beaches. Up north, if you go a little bit further, you end up in Sleeping Bear Dunes area. A lot of dunes and beaches here, and especially with nice weather, you really can't beat it. Now take a look at this. This is awesome. I thought about slowing it down, but I'm just going to show it going straight through. I'm going to remove all of the visualizations just so you can get the full effect of going through this area. This area is gorgeous. It gets a lot of rainfall, so you have a lot of wooded areas, trees, greenery everywhere. Look at this. This little thing is awesome. There's a little ship up above there, and that's because the cargo ships travel through here with steel going through Lake Michigan. So from here, it's a 37-minute drive all the way to Interlochen. I fast forward this portion, so sit back and enjoy.
No! Ew! Giant enemy crabs. It was a big, it was like a whale.
So as you can hear there, my kids in the back, it's actually my niece and my two daughters are in the back, and they start talking a lot here later in the drive. But this is the road here that takes us directly to the Interlochen Center for the Arts. Right now is the summer camp. I played a lot of music when I was younger. I actually worked at Interlochen Arts Camp during the summer of 1999. I worked in the cafeteria, so I have a lot of memories here, and it's very meaningful to me, this area, just because it's beautiful. It's a wooded area. The people that go to this camp are extremely talented musicians, and there are people that come from all over the world, from China, from Austria, from Switzerland, from France, you name it. I mean, Japan, from every country, basically. Extremely talented musicians come here, and they spend a long time just hanging out in cabins and practicing their instruments and just getting really good at what they do. The talent here is unbeatable, and it is really special to be completely immersed in this music world here as a visitor. And I imagine if you had actually gone to the camp, which I wish I had applied, I wish I had gone to this camp. It's very expensive, by the way. I think that's a big part of why my parents never encouraged me to go to the camp. Maybe they didn't know about it. I'm sure they did. But it is just very, very expensive. But look at all the wooded area here. You're going to see coming up here, we're getting really close now. It's on the right. The entrance is on the right. There is a crosswalk, and there's always a traffic guard helping the campers cross the road here. And this is an area for the, I never went to the camp, so I don't know all the details, but on the left side of the road, which I believe is going, I think it's going east. I think we're heading south right now. On the east side, you have the larger kids, or the older kids. They end up going to that area. That's kind of their campground, or whatever you want to call it. They end up staying there. So here, it actually tried to go into this entrance, and I can't really blame this disengagement, because this is kind of a maps issue. It thought that we could get in here. There's a gated section here, so we actually can't go through here. So the section where the cross guard is and the students are crossing over is coming up here really soon. So I just let it come in here, kind of knowing that it was not the right entrance. It says there assign employee entrance. You can technically go in there to park when the gate is open. So I forced it out of here and turn full self-driving back on, and I'm like, ooh, traffic person here, and they're coming out in the street, but we do have a car in front of us, so we don't get the full effect. And I'm checking the maps here before I turn it on. There, now it's back engaged, just to make sure where we're headed. And thankfully, it is saying that we're going to be going into the correct entrance here. So you can see the stop sign showing up in the middle of the road, and then she brings the sign down, it disappears, and she walks away, and the traffic progresses. It didn't slow down for that blinking light or anything. I just crossed through there very naturally, so no issues once that area cleared out. And once we come up here, the entrance is on the right, but what you're going to see here is it comes in and it goes around this area very, I don't want to say awkwardly, but incorrectly. It really needs to go straight here, and you'll see this car in front of me. They follow the correct path, and my car doesn't follow them. It just kind of goes off onto its own area. And see, it goes over here, and completely unnecessary, and you can see my hands kind of hovering over the steering wheel. I'm like, should I take over? And I eventually do, because it's like there's no point in really wrestling with it and allowing it to do, because there's traffic building up here. You can see the cars coming, they're pouring in, and I don't want to make a scene here. A concert's beginning in about a half hour. Thankfully, we arrived early, so we have enough time to park. We wanted to actually get here earlier, so the finish with this video is kind of sentimental for my own memories and my own documentation of this camp area. And if you spent any time in Interlochen, you're going to have a huge appreciation for the finale of this video, because it really shows kind of the ambiance or the atmosphere here at Interlochen. I drive manually for the remainder of this trip here, just coming through here, but you can see the pedestrians showing up. The nice thing is that even when you're not using full self-driving, these visualizations will show up full screen, so you get the full effect of seeing everything around you, including the vehicles. If you have a trash receptacle, construction cones no longer show up. Those got removed, but you can see the stop lettering on the pavement that will show up. Arrows will show up. A lot of things show up, but things that really it doesn't need to specifically pay attention to will not show up. Like, for example, if you have a cat or a rabbit or something, it will just show up as kind of like a blob on the screen. So I proceed forward. I remove the visualizations from here and finish up the trip here, pulling into the parking area, and then you'll get to enjoy the atmosphere here at Interlochen. And I'm looking forward to getting 12.5. I am just like everybody else, wanting to get this software as badly as you. My car is an Intel processor with hardware 3. It's a 2019 Model 3. I don't know when I will be able to afford another Tesla. It's a stretch. I've got 3 girls I have to put through college and pay for their weddings and all sorts of fun stuff. And I was I never inherited any money, so budget is tight. Single family income. Doing my best to support everybody. Yeah, I mean, cars. I don't buy a car unless I need to, and right now just don't need to buy a new car. Used car? Maybe in the future. Cross my fingers. I would love to get hardware 5, though. It's kind of the Osborne effect, where you hold out buying something when you know something better is coming in the future. But honestly, I'd rather have hardware 5 than hardware 4. So this area coming up here is the Melody Freeze. Again, if you went to this camp, you will have really strong memories. You can relate to a lot of this. All of the campers here enjoying their ice creams. And this is just a very special area. And I do take us through the cafeteria because I spent a lot of time in the cafeteria. This is the administration building, the Maddie administration building. I have some memories here, but not too many. But I think for some they'll be like, oh wow, this hasn't changed. You can see the flooring. I mean, that hasn't changed in decades, but it's just beautiful. I think the architecture up here, it just has a really nice kind of old feel, and you have almost zero cellular connectivity up in this area. So that also makes it kind of special. You're unplugged, you are off on your own, and the focus is music, entirely music. And you'll hear kids practicing all over the place. And they all have uniforms too. You can see that girl there sitting there eating. You'll see a lot of uniforms here. So this is the cafeteria. Super special to me. Again, this is mainly a video for me, but you'll see coming in here, absolutely fascinating. Just the environment. I mean, I think if you go to any camp and you spend some time there, you know, you get used to the way that camp operates, and then, you know, memories form, right? You have relationships with people, and then you just always are curious how much of it is the same. So I worked in the cafeteria and served food. It was just a part-time job. It was like a couple months, but it was still really special to me. These tables, I don't know if they got updated, but a lot of administrative folks in here, no campers, it looks like. They used to have milk dispensing machines here. I would refill the bags there. This whole entrance area here is different. They used to have these lines where the people would serve the food. Now they just have these little islands, and it's kind of help yourself. So I'm imagining COVID kind of changed that with the pandemic, I'm guessing. I don't remember those tables being there, but this area is just beautiful. You can see outside there's a really nice lake, absolutely gorgeous. And then heading out from the cafeteria, we go to the Kresge Auditorium, and this is the outdoor auditorium where they do all of their music. The World Youth Symphony Orchestra plays there, and I do have a special outro showing a little bit of the Interlochen theme song to wrap up this video. Thank you so much, everybody, again, for your support. I love that you're here, and I'll see you in the next video, hopefully with 12.5.